Here.
District 33, District 34,
Here.
District 45,
Here.
District 48,
Here.
District 58,
Here.
District 60,
Here.
District 63,
Here.
District 66,
Here.
District 68,
Here.
District 88,
Here.
District 94,
Here.
District 99, District 180,
Here.
District 201, District 202,
Representing the unit school districts
District 205. We have a quorum.
Please rise for the
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Place on the agenda for public comments.
We have none.
Seeing none, we are going to need to do a secretary.
Oh, yes, yes.
Wow.
Yeah, go ahead.
So we are going to need to appoint a secretary pro tem.
I nominate Omar.
Second. I'll do some voice vote, right? All in favor? All
Aye.
in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, Omar. Okay. So first on the agenda, we have the recognition of Dr. Vanderwood.
Yes, so before we head to that, I do want to introduce two of our new board members. Kendall Smith is District 180's new superintendent, so he is joining us today.
Good afternoon.
Here. And Travis McGuire is the incoming superintendent with District 63, replacing Mark Ross. So thank you both for being here today. All right, so I'm so excited to recognize Lizzie as the DuPage County Administrator of the Year. Lizzie has worked endlessly to strengthen our programs, both community in Sasset and with our partner districts, build organizational capacity and stabilize our organization. She's brilliant, effective, and passionate about her work, and I am delighted to work with her as a colleague, and I am extremely proud of her. The night was lovely, not only for Lizzie, but for Sasset. To be recognized in this way is very appreciative, and it really can add on to a better administrator. So thank you. I guess I could have, but now that you say that, right? It's like a Bridget Jones moment, right? But thank you, Lizzie, for everything you do. I'm super, super proud of you.
It's from all of us.
Thank you. Oh, dear, lovely. Thank you. Thank you.
I said that night, it's like a real privilege to have hard work that matters, and so that's because of all of you. So,
Alrighty, moving on to our consent agenda, we have our personnel report. You'll find two new job descriptions for a sub-coordinator and an EIS coordinator. I want to remind everybody that these positions were added as other positions were eliminated in order to strengthen the operations of Sasset. These new positions are included in the 2.7 increase approved last month. In other words, the addition of these positions are cost neutral as a result of the realignment in which I've been sharing with everyone since December. You're also being asked to approve our ESY staff. Our financial reports are included, as well as the resolutions to appoint new governing board members and alternates. Updated press policies are in there. This is their second read. They'll be approved. And then lastly included is a lease agreement with NIU for the beginning of our year activities, our food service contract, and the application for our occupancy for Southeast. Any questions?
Any items anyone would like to remove from the consent agenda? I'll entertain a motion in a second to approve the consent agenda as presented.
So move District 60.
Second, District 48. Roll call, please.
District 58,
Yes.
District 60,
Yes.
District 63,
Yes.
District 66,
Yes.
District 68,
Yes.
District 88,
Yes.
District 94, District 180,
Yes.
District 202,
Yes.
District 20,
Yes.
District 25,
Yes.
District 34,
Yes.
District 45,
Yes.
and District 48.
Yes.
Motion passed.
All right, our first action item for the board's approval for the 2.7 increase last month. I'm happy to present the renewal contracts for Lizzie Vanderwood, Tara Corral, Katie Kirby, Amy Gabray, Sherilyn Denon, and Laura Lopez. Any questions? Okay.
Entertain a motion and a second to approve the Saxon Administrator contract renewals for the school year 26-27 as presented.
So moved, District 66. Second, District 60.
Roll call please.
District 63,
Yes.
District 66,
Yes.
District 68,
Yes.
District 88,
Yes.
District 94,
Yes.
District 180,
Yes.
District 202,
Yes.
District 20,
Yes.
District 25,
Yes.
District 33, District 34,
Yes.
District 45,
Yes.
District 48,
Yes.
District 58,
Yes.
and District 60.
Yes.
Motion passed.
All right. Item B, as you know, 3 of our administrators resigned this year, and one, Matt, has already been approved to be our full-time HR assistant director. The 3 new administrative contracts that are before you are replacing 4 of our administrative open positions. We are not replacing a 4th one, so we are going down 1 administrator. Included for your reference are the resumes and the updated job descriptions for these positions. The job descriptions needed to be tweaked in order to ensure the responsibilities of our current 4 admins are accounted for in the 3 new administrators being recommended. These positions are included in the cost neutrality of the 2.7 increase approved last month. Are there any questions?
I'll entertain a motion and a second to approve the new Saxon Administrator contracts for the 26-27 school year as presented.
Move to approve 68.
Second, 45.
Roll call please.
Was that 45 and second?
Yes.
Thank you. District 48,
Yes.
District 58,
Yes.
District 60,
Yes.
District 63,
Yes.
District 66,
Yes.
District 68,
Yes.
District 88,
Yes.
District 94,
Yes.
District 180,
Yes.
District 202,
Yes.
District 20,
Yes.
District 25,
Yes.
District 34,
Yes.
District 45,
Yes.
motion passed.
All right, I'm gonna pass Sandy over to Rachel. Rachel, do you want to explain the approval for designations for fiscal year 2017? 2027, yep, sorry.
Annually, the board of directors has to approve a list of authorized designations. So for the depositories, we will continue with Fifth Third Bank, PMA Securities, and Fifth Third Securities. We will continue to use Daily Herald for our newspaper for our legal notices. Our legal counsel will continue to be Angler, Callaway, Besson and Straga, and our architect is White and Company. So administration recommends that the board of directors approve continuing with the above designations for the fiscal year 27.
So moved to until 34. Second, 58.
Roll call please.
District 60,
Yes.
District 63,
Yes.
District 66,
Yes.
District 68,
Yes.
District 88,
Yes.
District 94,
Yes.
District 180,
Yes.
District 202,
Yes.
District 20,
Yes.
District 25,
Yes.
District 34,
Yes.
District 45,
Yes.
District 48, and District 58.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Rachel?
Oh, the next one?
Yes.
Sure, so the school code requires that, the school district obtain bond for, and, have a resolution to appoint a treasurer every 2 years. So the school code requires that the bond amount be provided at a minimum of 10% of the highest amount of money in custody of the treasurer. So we are asking, to approve the resolution for a $4 million bond coverage for Saxon, through Liberty Mutual Insurance Company.
So moved to until 34.
Second. Yeah, 63.
Any questions? Roll call please.
District 66,
Yes.
District 68,
Yes.
District 88,
Yes.
District 94,
Yes.
District 180,
Yes.
District 202,
Yes.
District 20,
Yes.
District 25,
Yes.
District 34,
Yes.
District 45,
Yes.
District 48,
Yes.
District 58,
Yes.
District 60,
Yes.
and District 63.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Right, before you have all of our lease agreements for the 26-27 school year. 10 districts total will be hosting a variety of SASSA programs. We're delighted to partner with District 33 and expand offerings with District 58. So those are there for your review. Any questions?
Make the motion to approve the 26-27 lease agreements as presented. Second, District 60.
Roll call please.
District 66,
Yes.
District 68,
Yes.
District 88,
Yes.
District 94,
Yes.
District 180,
Yes.
District 202,
Abstain.
District 20,
Yes.
District 25,
Yes.
District 34,
Yes.
District 45,
Yes.
District 48,
Yes.
District 58,
Yes.
District 60,
Yes.
and District 63.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Alright, for approval today, please find our proposed board meeting schedule for next year. We are staying with the third Wednesday of each month at 2 o'clock with a few anomalies. August being the first anomaly, we're having our first board meeting August 5th because we don't meet in July. And we have to start school the next 2 weeks. So once approved, Sango will send out all the calendar invites to all of us. Any questions, comments?
So moved, Winfield 34.
Second, 58.
Roll call please.
District 60,
Yes.
District 63.
No.
No, just kidding.
So that's a yes.
Yes, yes, I'm sorry.
District 66,
Yes.
District 68,
Yes.
District 88,
Yes.
District 94,
Yes.
District 180,
Yes.
District 202,
Yes.
District 20,
Yes.
District 25,
Yes.
District 34,
Yes.
District 45,
Yes.
District 48,
Yes.
District 58,
Yes.
motion passed.
Alright.
So the next item, we have to adjourn this board and reestablish the board and then do officers. So I'm gonna, I think I'm supposed to make the motion to the board of directors to adjourn SIDI. Is that how you say that?
Yep.
And it's just a voice vote, right? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Do you need it seconded? Or is it okay not to have it seconded?
We do need a second.
Seconded,
Sorry.
Winfield 34.
Just making sure.
First up on
Very
that.
good, thank you. Okay, sorry. All right. Okay, do we do voice vote again?
No.
Okay, good. All right, I'm now going to call the board to order. Roll call, please.
District 20,
Here.
District 25,
Here.
District 33, District 34,
Here.
District 45.
Here.
District 48.
Yes.
District 58.
Here.
District 60.
Here.
District 63.
Here.
District 66.
Present.
District 68.
Here.
District 88.
Here.
District 94.
Here.
District 99. District 180.
Here.
District 201. District 202.
Here.
District 205. We have a quorum.
Okay, so the next, we're gonna appoint a chairperson, pro tem, to be able to do the election of officers. So, Dr. Kim Dreyer will serve as the pro tem chairperson, to facilitate the election of officers, for the 26-27 school year. So is that, all, I need a second.
Second, Winfield 34.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Alright, nominations are now in order for the office of chairperson.
I personally think Dr. Jean Bracamente and the whole team, and Dr. Ryan Graber and Christina is the secretary, with Omar being the backup, with Yeah.
Can we elect
Keep
a
going.
secretary back up?
Alright, so,
Second, whatever.
so let's start with, Dr. Barbadente is nominated for the chairperson. Are there any other nominations for the office of chairperson?
Well, it's your turn.
Hearing no further nominations, the nominations for the office of chairperson are closed. Dr. Barbadente being the only candidate nominated for the office of chairperson, the chair pro tem hereby declares her elected by acclamation and directs the board secretary to record so in the minutes. Alright, I heard a nomination for Brian Graber is nominated for the vice chairperson. Are there any other nominations for the office of vice chairperson? Hearing no further nominations, the nomination of the office of vice chairperson are closed. Dr. Graber being the only candidate nominated for the office of vice chairperson, the chair hereby declares him elected by acclamation and directs the board secretary to record so in the minutes.
Can I just ask one question? Who made that nomination?
Amy.
The motion. Amy, thank you.
Amy kind of made all.
She made
I
I got excited.
I got
And
excited
just
not
remember
to,
saying
not to
like
be me.
she nominated Omar specifically as
As a
a
backup.
backup.
May not be an agenda item,
Make sure we're fully covered.
just in case.
She's thinking ahead.
So, Christine Davis has been nominated for the position of secretary. Are there any other nominations for office of secretary? Hearing no further nominations, the nomination for the office of secretary is closed. Christine Davis being the only candidate nominated for the office of secretary, the chair hereby declares her elected by acclamation and directs the board secretary to record so minutes. Alrighty. Alright.
Yeah.
I think we're off for our discussion items. Lizzie, do you want to go for our enrollment report, please?
Sure. Our enrollment, as we're finishing up the school year, is at 356, which is 4 more than we were just a bit ago. You can see then on the back page each of your districts total to end the school year. Note that the change in the far right column is the change since the beginning of the school year, so you can see where your district has increased or decreased or maintained the same number of students in SASIP programming. When we look towards next year, enrollment is holding fairly steady at this with quite a few referrals that I'll go into later when I go into the strategy.
Any questions for Dr. Vanderwood? Alright, Dr. Wheaton, we go through our HR report, please.
Sure. We're ending the year with our staffing filled at 404.32 FTE. This is an increase of 2.0 from last month. We filled some additional vacancies with contract workers that we had in the month of April. As I told you last month, our hiring for the school year ended on May 1st. So this will be the last staffing update for this year that you'll receive from us. You can see the breakdown from direct versus contract staff. And we will we'll be compiling an end of the year report for Dr. Dreyer that will reflect the transiency and the changes in personnel over the course of the year. Any questions? Thank you.
As far as committee reports, our updates are going to be short this month. The May 13th facility committee was moved to May 27th, so we'll have a report in June. Our May 6th finance committee was canceled. Our next meeting is June 3rd. I do want to provide a little reminder, as noted in the email I sent the other day. Tammy Schmell from PMA, Dawn Hinkle, SASIP's attorney, and Anjali B. from Chapman will be present. We'll be reviewing 3 main areas. We'll be reviewing each district's certificate allocation, each district's debt capacity, and options for the length of the debt certificate based on $15 million and $20 million debt. Also, as noted, please feel free to attend and invite your CSBOs. I will ask Senga to send out invites to everyone, including your CSBOs, for your convenience and as a reminder. And we have no new policy updates. Also, you will find in your board packet our new committee membership, as well as meeting dates sent this out for review. Hearing no comments from anyone, these are the committees and the dates for next year. And again, after today, Sango will send out calendar invites appropriately for all committee members with their dates and times. Any questions on any of that? Okay. So this is going to be part one of our end of year updates. I'm going to focus. So, as you know, I joined SACID mid-term of a developed and approved strategic plan. So I came in the third year of a 5-year, or third year of a 5-year strategic plan. In an effort to remain true to the previously identified strategic plan, I want to review our progress based on the identified indicators in our strategic plan. 3 things to note before I start. I'm not going to be reviewing all of our program updates today. Lizzie's going to give a short update, and then next month she's going to come back and give a more thorough overview of some of our programs. I will be working with my team this summer to identify additional indicators for SACID. I will share the indicators with you next fall. And SACID will be entering the 5th year of a 5-year strategic plan. Given the remaining uncertainty regarding facilities, I'll be working with my team this summer to start an extension of the current 4 areas identified. So our current 4 areas in our strategic plan continue to be relevant. That's high quality staffing, exemplary programs, communication, and operations. We'll be working to identify appropriate success indicators as well as involving relevant stakeholder groups. I'm going to work to extend our strategic plan with this new information until 2029. During the 2029 school year, the SACID team will begin a much more formal and thorough strategic plan development, and I will share the extended strategic plan with you next spring. So again, today, we're going to do a summary of progress regarding high quality staffing, communication, and operations. In the fall, I will provide additional indicators for success for the school year, and then in spring, I'll provide an updated and extended strategic plan. So let's get started. So our first area is high quality staffing. Again, these are the indicators that have already been identified. So I do want to remain true to that. And so pulling the end of this year's data, our first indicator is the measured fill rates per position throughout the organization. We are close to 4% higher than what we were last year with our filled positions, and this is pretty steady from midterm as well. Goal 2 is to enhance, expand, and coordinate retention strategies. Again, the metric that was identified is to measure an increase in percentage of staff by job category. We didn't have any change since I reviewed this mid-year because all of our folks were already hired, but we were seeing a slight increase in retention. So moving on to other indicators for high quality staffing. So my team and I, we knew that some of these indicators only tell a short story of what we do, so we identified additional indicators. The first indicator that we identified was to, let me just look at this. Senga, can you refresh that? I updated this. Sorry, this is the new. I was just in there a little bit ago. Sorry. Sorry. There we go. So to identify specific needs for recruitment for teacher assistants, teachers pipeline initiatives to be developed. So we developed a few additional contracts with Roosevelt and COD. We're working pretty closely with some of our universities, particularly ISU, and some of our universities that support OT and PTs. We are trying to be as innovative as we possibly can, supporting student teachers, supporting clinical students, and assisting them with their pipeline into certified positions. We have, and we've also had an increase in our student teachers and clinical students. We also identified the need to meet with some of our local community colleges and build partnerships with them. Lizzie and I did that at the beginning of the year. We met with North Central, Benedictine, and Lewis. Previous partnerships have been strengthened, and an increase in student teachers and clinical students have been evidenced. As far as the increased satisfaction with SACID for both employees and families, as evidenced by our attendance at SACID hosted activities. So our staff holiday party, which is held in December, and our end of the year picnic, we saw a decline in staff attendance. But our night at the museum realized an increase of about 54 participants, as opposed to the 100 before, so it was about a 50% increase. Looking at increase in activities offered, we didn't necessarily host additional activities via SACID, but each program hosted their own activities. So Lizzie's going to go into that more next month. But for example, our vision department hosted a vision game night where parents were able to come in, bring their favorite game, and our staff helped adapt games to meet the needs of vision impaired students. So Lizzie will go more into that next month. And then we've also entered into a consolidated contract with Sunburst. I know we've talked about that a little bit here already. The outcomes expected with Sunburst is improved contractual staff retention and training. So Sunburst is an umbrella contractual company. So currently we contract with about 6 different agencies. Sunburst is going to be our umbrella. Some of the purposes of doing this, one is that they're able to offer more competitive rates. 2, we're hoping that the retention will be better. And we've also asked for oversight of our contractual staff on site because they have been, we have expended a lot of HR and admin time with our contractual staff. We also do our annual survey, our annual SACID survey. This is something that's been going on at least for 10 years, as Sandra has told me. The full data is linked there, but I just want to go through some of the key points. I do want to say that our staff attendance, or our staff survey rate has decreased this year. About 110 staff completed it. That's about a third of our staff, so that was unfortunate to see. That said, the areas that have been identified, higher rates of staff satisfaction include satisfaction with their assignment, the number of students in their classroom, the classroom location, technology, instructional materials, team meetings, and professional learning opportunities. Areas of growth are communication, relationships with host schools, availability of substitutes, chain of command, and opportunities for input. I want to talk just a minute about the communication piece. So we also read through all of the comments. In reading through the comments and knowing what I know about SACID, one huge barrier identified, and I know when I was a district administrator, we always heard we need to see our administrators more, we need to see our administrators more. That continues to be a theme. SACID is really tasked with an additional barrier. We're not in the buildings with any of our schools. So even though we have increased purposely and strategically increased our administrative presence in every one of our classrooms, our teachers are still feeling that stress. When there is a crisis or an emergency, there isn't an administrator on hand to address it. So much of our time is spent being reactive. This is going to remain an area of concern, given the current setup of what we have, and despite the numerous areas that we've tried to establish. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about that. Yes.
Does SACID do the 5 essentials?
We do not.
Okay.
Yes.
And so the survey that you issue, is that an internal survey that's created internally, or was it one
Funny
created?
you should bring that up, Patrick. It is an internal survey that SACID has been doing, according to Sangha, for close to 20 years. So I had not wanted to change the survey because this is what all the data has been tied to. That said, my team and I just discussed Tuesday the need to update that survey. It doesn't tell us anything to help us with improving our outcomes, right? It's a survey that particularly if that's something we're going to be married to, it needs to be brushed off and redone. So we're taking a look at it this summer. It's actually part of our teacher contract also, that they get input into their administrators every year. So that's what we're doing.
Kim, how are the survey results shared with staff?
Via the newsletter.
Do they see the comments as well?
They do not.
Redacted? Do we see the comments at all?
I have not shared the comments with you.
I think it would be helpful. I mean, I know like we do the 5 essentials and a climate survey in my district, but we actually post all the comments online that people can see. We redact for staff members, but our board does see it just to kind of get a sense of. I think you learn a lot from the comments as well as from the actual data.
Yeah, so the way I look at the comments, Kevin, that's something that my administrative team and I have looked at to dive into that. It's not something that I have historically shared with the board. If that's something that this board wants to see, I could share that, but please know that we look at the comments and.
Is your concern people sharing things that, sometimes people share things anonymously or in comments that aren't for the world to see or for everybody to see?
Oh, absolutely.
Or great confidentiality
Yes.
maybe, or talk about other staff member, and just
Yes.
curious if that's part of your concern or Kevin's question right now.
So the surveys are anonymous. The surveys are written to gauge the effectiveness of administrators. They're not like the 5 essentials, so there's some very personal comments in there, and in my opinion, a lot of low blows. So that's why we're not sharing that. I do surveys monthly with my staff to be more strategic with how to move things, and I do have staff sign their names to it. This is a conversation that we have had with staff, that all of your comments are going to be taken seriously, but if you don't sign your name to it, they will not. And the level of professionalism that I expect with my staff is high, and some of the comments, when able to be anonymous, have been very personal and unprofessional in my opinion.
Is that your subtle way of saying that you prefer that we not see the comments?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not hiding anything. I'd be more than glad to meet with you and go through it with you, but.
The reason I ask is because if the survey is meant for administration to take action on, my question would be, why would, as a board, why would we need to see? Because I don't know what action we would take on items that are meant for you to review for your administrators or for your staff.
What we do when we look at the comments is glean themes. Communication. They want to see their administrators more. Our administrators aren't present. Our administrators aren't here. Many staff are unhappy with the reorganization of what we did with our administrators. Again, the underlying piece to that is some of our administrators, when we shifted them from specific programs, the staff that they were working with missed them terribly, and that person is now overseeing more things. So it tells a story, but it's a story that I don't know that anyone would be able to interpret without Lizzie, me, Rachel, Julia, Matt, and Dan, next to you, giving you that story. I kind of look at that as my job. Again, I'm not hiding anything. I'd be more than glad to sit down with you and review that with you if you want to make an appointment with me. But I don't know. I certainly won't share it with the staff. And if that's something that the board wants, again, I would welcome you guys to come over anytime, sit with me, and we can review that data. Okay, anything else with that? Okay, so moving on, Lizzie, do you want to, I know you put the indicators, so again, these are the indicators that have been identified, as part of the strategic plan. So Lizzie, why don't you go through this, please?
Yeah. So for exemplary programs and services, the first goal is really about improving access to SACIT programs and inclusion. So the indicators for that look at member district versus non-member district enrollment. The point being to make sure that we are prioritizing our member district referrals over perhaps districts that are not a part of a cooperative or seeking our programs. These numbers remain very, very steady. The highest it reached, if you scroll down a little farther, was in May of last year, where it was about 10% this year. Our non-member district is floating right about 8%. and our member district at 92%. Yes, Matt.
Before whoever scrolls away from that, is the reason we are at 356 instead of 370 or whatever we've been in the years previously because we can't find enough teachers? Or is it because we don't have, neither us internally nor external groups are interested in growing, keeping our enrollment numbers at that level?
Very good question. So back in the fall, when we had, once the school year started, several teacher resignation, and we had to make some very difficult decisions to shift classrooms and condense classrooms, that limited our ability to take in a lot of referrals that were coming in because we could not then fill those positions with certified teachers. So the 356 number in comparison to several years back when it was closer to 400, I think is in relation to the other strategic plan about recruitment and retainment and looking at that. The other point being in that from what we have gained since we have started just not quite 2 years ago is that the referrals that are coming from districts have a little bit more variance in that we're seeing students from some of the districts here that are smaller that maybe don't have in-house programs. We need to provide programs for those students. We're also seeing higher levels, for example, of autism. So level 2, level 3 autism referrals much higher, whereas from my understanding prior to us starting, those students might have been referred out to therapeutic placement. And we are trying to offer all of that. We have really done a lot of work with programming for our different classrooms to have those different structures of classrooms, but that's a little bit of the variance I think you see as well. And it's also space utilization. We have the number of classrooms that we do and we can get the teachers that we can. The other thing on the right is year-to-date referrals. So far this year we've had 158 referrals, which seems like an incredibly high number. We accept the students that then it is decided they come. So the amount of referrals we get, that does not mean the district is saying it has been decided in an IEP meeting for that student for sure to attend a SASN program. That referral means that at the IEP meeting, placement is going to be discussed and that we are on the table as one of those options. So during those IEP meetings then, families have a choice between us and depending upon what the directors recommend, different therapeutic placements. Families move. We do have a somewhat transient population, and then appropriateness of placement. So just because we get a referral doesn't mean that at that IEP meeting, the team is actually going to determine that an outside placement is appropriate, nor is it for sure that they're going to say the public cooperative is the appropriate placement. At that time, they could go to private therapeutic as well. So kind of a long answer to your question, Matt. It's a combination of factors. So
my question, the follow-up to that piece is, are we trying to right-size this as a 350 organization? Are we trying to right-size this as a 375? Because this affects some of our things down later on today. Mm-hmm. You know, this was our essentially our lowest year in the reporting. Where do you guys see, and the two areas in the staffing plan that weren't were 7% on classroom teachers, 6% on certified supports. So those are our main teacher group. What size organization are we aiming for? And I think this is a Kim question more than it is a you question, but it does affect some of our conversations later on about facility and other things that we're looking through. So
we believe, I believe we have 30 new referrals that Lizzie has sorted through for next year. So I think between 370 and 380 is an appropriate.
Okay, that's helps.
Yep. Yes, and so member district enrollment, we want to continually see that increase and non-member decrease. Also remember that part of this is also DWC, so our low incidence DHH and vision population, and those are 92 districts, and that counts as part of the member because those 92 count for our low incident programs. The next metric that is in the strategic plan is about inclusion. So this is again about our students being able to access those general education opportunities. I did not have data from years past on this. Last year was the year we started looking at this. So you see a slight change, which is the good thing. In the 0 minutes category, you want that number to be decreasing because that means that we have more students that do have general education opportunities. So we saw a 6% decrease in students from having 0 minutes of inclusion. So 57% of our students currently do not have inclusion written into their IEP, meaning they are not yet ready to experience that, and they're not developmentally yet appropriate for that. And then the sliding scale down, we have an increase in the 1 to 300 minutes, a slight decrease from 300 to 600 minutes, same with 600 to 900, and then an increase in the 900 to 1200 and the 1200 minutes. Yes.
Just to clarify the question, the sub-conversation, whatever, is this current year in the left, next year's IEPs in the right, or is this year in arrears in the left and it's just labeled wrong at the top? And current year in the right.
I apologize. It is labeled incorrect. Thank you, Matt. It is labeled incorrect as I'm planning. Thank you. But, well, it's a little bit of both actually, right? Because students' IEPs go from this year into next year. So it's hard to say, right? Because the annual reviews happen throughout the whole school year. So for 25-26, that's where we began the year. And then for school year 26-27, this is where our annual reviews are now.
So maybe we
Does that
take
make
this.
sense?
Maybe we take this number in September when we're not adjusting everyone's IEP, so then we can have every current year being.
This will stay for the beginning of May. So if you see school year 25-26, that was the end of last year and beginning of this year's numbers. And now, as the annual reviews have happened, this is where we're ending the school year and going into next. Does that make sense?
So it is going forward.
Yes. Right, because so when we did this in May of last year for this coming school year and what was in current IEPs at the end of last year was the school year 25-26, and then school year 26-27 is where our IEPs are at right now. That number is always slightly in variance because it's not like we do every annual review in October or in May, that it's throughout the year. Yeah. And then opportunities for inclusion, those include the academics. We do have students in all core content classes, in additional to the exploratory or elective courses. And then extracurricular activities. We have seen a slight increase. We have a couple students participating in band and orchestras in your districts. We have, for the first time, one of our vision students participating in track, where one of our teachers is actually her runner with her, as a blind student would need that guidance, which is pretty cool. And we also have a student that joined ROTC this year. So that was really exciting as well. The other goal that we have is the comprehensive staff development plan. I will go into this more for exemplary programs and services on both ends, but specifically for this. Our staff development plan is really based on walkthrough data. We do that a couple times a year. We look for trends, we review that and analyze it at both the administrative level and then the program leader level, which includes different staff members. We identify trends and areas of need, and then we put together a professional development course catalog. And we did that last year, and we're expanding on that this year as well. But I'll go into more detail next month, as Kim said.
Thanks, Lizzie.
Mm-hmm.
Lizzie, can I ask you one follow-up?
Of course.
You had said back up in goal 1, the bigger group that were a part of the West Cook, how does that work for, they're counted as members for the referral? Explain that.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure that our members are, well, go ahead and explain it and then I'll.
So for our deaf and hard of hearing and vision programs, member districts are 92 districts. It's R18 and then the larger DuPage West Cook. For all other programs, our member districts are just these 8.
Got it.
So even if, for example, District 200 Wheaton Warrenville is a member of DWC. If they have a student in our DHH program, that counts as a member. If they would refer and we would accept a student into, let's say, our SLE or Southeast program, that would count as a non-member. Does that answer that?
That answered my question. Thank you.
All right, so I will report on communications. Our goal and metric was internal and external participants who reported an increase in being satisfied or very satisfied on the communication survey items. Again, I already reviewed a little bit of that, but I do want to just share with you some of the strategies that we've been doing, right? So every one of my program administrators are providing my staff with weekly program updates. We have monthly newsletters. We have an active suggestion box. We reintroduced the steering committee. We've continued committees with our core facilities, culture, and instruction. We have an increase in scheduled and facilitated team meetings, so these are like PLCs. So our administrators are now facilitating each of them, and they're scheduled for every program. We have strategic surveying data that we've been using, feedback opportunities, and staff, continue to note concerns with communication. And again, that stems mostly from that, seeing their administrators and not knowing things that they would like to get from their administration. And again, just the setup of the co-op makes it very difficult. We don't have the opportunity to have staff meetings. Our second goal was to create and enhance written guidance procedures. We've done a lot with this year. We have fully launched our intranet. We have our monthly newsletters. I have added the amount of views to each of those newsletters there. Again, we've established weekly program updates. We scheduled all of our GLTs and PLTs, and our walkthrough feedback was provided, and Lizzie and her team have been scheduling those throughout the year. Other indicators for success for communication, we've developed classroom expectations, roles and responsibilities for all of our staff. We've developed sustainable and reasonable attendance procedures for staff and students. We've initiated our PLTs and GLTs across all of our programs, and we've also set very clear expectations for each of those programs. Started the steering committee. We met 4 times this year. We've developed partnership agreements for all of our classrooms that talks about, how our teachers and our aides are working together. We have improved the process for our purchase order. We've expanded our intranet. There's clear expectations for programs, teachers to communicate with their parents. Lizzie has outlined that with all of our staff, so that staff are communicating with their parents at least once a week. And we have clear expectations for program updates being weekly. Our last area is operations. The first goal is to maintain a fiscal responsibility while streamlining business services. We have and the metric was to provide monthly budget progress statements to the board. We do that. And then the other metric is to have clarity in billing procedures and practices for items on the menu of services. We did initiate our new tuition structure this year. We initiated our new audiology billing structure this year. We've tweaked our budget timeline, and billing and tuition is reviewed by the finance committee at least annually. And then the second goal of this is the long-term facilities plan aligned to the mission and vision. Again, we've talked about that. I know somewhere in one of these renditions I have embedded the facility update that I provided last week. Might be at the bottom here. There it is. Other indicators for operations. We negotiated our staff contract. Our staff ratified that last week, so we'll bring it to the board. Actually, they ratified it yesterday. We'll bring it to the board next month. We are in the progress of negotiating our support staff contract. We are pursuing and purchasing new facilities. That's where I added the updates. We determined funding sources for our new facilities done via debt certificates. We, in regard to design and construction, my administrative team and I are meeting with our architects. We have met with her to give a pretty extensive needs regarding our space so that she can help us with projected costs. Our tuition and billing model has been revised, and our service menu has been revised. So as far as our next steps, again, I talked about this in the beginning. We've been implementing the strategic plan as previously designed. Several indicators have been identified as not appropriate indicators for success. Our current strategic plan is entering its last year of the 5-year plan. We're going to be working over the summer to discuss appropriate indicators for success as well as appropriate extension of the strategic plan.
So again, this summer I'll be working with my administrative team to review, plan, update our indicators, make sure that they're appropriate for what we want to accomplish, and discuss relevant extension of our current plan. I will bring the indicators to the board in the fall, so you'll have input into that. And in the spring of 2027, I'll be bringing the extended strategic plan. With the strategic plan extension, we are 100% planning on including stakeholder inputs. It just isn't going to be quite as, I guess, formal as maybe some strategic plans go. Given our current status of facilities and whatnot, we think that's the best way to move forward. Any questions, suggestions before moving forward? Alrighty. The last piece that we have, the last discussion item is the amended bylaws. We reviewed these bylaws last month and plan to take action on them today. However, as a precautionary measure, the amendments were shared with Tammy Schmello and Anjali B to ensure all proposed updates would support SACID in its property acquisition. So we just wanted to make sure that we weren't doing something that was going to potentially indicate what we needed to get done. A few changes were recommended. They're on page 8 and 9. If you have those, you received those last week. The changes don't impact the overall intent of the amendments that have been previously shared. Remember, the policy committee was asked to review the withdrawal language of the bylaws and provide an off-ramp, as well as to ensure all of our legal updates were included. The off-ramp was for districts that may not want to continue to proceed with our partnership. None of this has changed. All the previous conversations and timelines discussed with us last month still hold true. One new piece of information that was shared was that each district will need to complete a certificate of allocation in order for SACID to issue the death certificates. The death certificates will be in SACID's name. That said, each district remains responsible for their allocation, as SACID does not collect any tax dollars and are sole funding institution based. So we can issue death certificates, but we need a certificate of allocation to say somebody's going to pay for this if SACID can't. Nothing changed the overall intent to offer the off-ramp and to ensure all new costs are cost neutral based on our current leasing costs, which are paid via tuition. And again, that magic number is $25 million. That's the offset of our current lease. Since my email went out last Friday, several questions and concerns were posed. As a result, I decided to pause the approval of our bylaws. Today, I want and I need to make sure we as a board are all fully informed prior to asking for approval for the bylaws. In order to assure our board is fully apprised prior to taking action, here's the plan moving forward. All the questions that have been sent to me, I have a document that's been shared with Tammy and Anjali and Dawn. They're going to provide me answers to every one of those questions by next Friday, and I'll send that out to everybody. If you have additional questions, we can talk about that today, or you can send them to me by Friday, so Anjali and Tammy have enough time to do this. You already sent me questions, I have them, and they're all together. In this document that they prepare for us next Friday, they're also going to provide each of our individual districts' current debt capacity, as well as each district's allocation of debt based on our current enrollment, and based on either a $15 million debt issuance or a $20 million debt issuance. So you'll have that information next Friday. I'll share this document with all of you once I receive it. Then on June 3rd, at our finance meeting, Tammy, Anjali, and Dawn will be in attendance. They'll review again the document that they presented, answer any additional questions, and make sure everyone's answers, everyone has received the answers to their questions. They'll also be reviewing the allocation for districts, each district debt capacity, and they'll be sharing data to help us determine the length of our debt certificates based on the potential amount of debt.
So they'll be able to say, over 10, if it's 25 million for 10 years, this is how much it would be. I'd like to invite everyone here to the June 3rd board meeting, the June 3rd finance meeting, and I'd also like you to invite your CSBOs if they'd like to attend. I've asked Senga to send out calendar invites just as a placeholder, and please, by all means, come and meet with Tammy. In June, I'll bring back the bylaws for a vote. Again, all the timelines that we identified at our last board meeting still hold true. Lastly, my administrative team, John and I, were able to meet with Tammy and Anjali and John yesterday. I want to share some information with you ahead of time to hopefully alleviate some amount of concern. First, the allocation certificate is a one-page certificate in which serves as a reasonable estimate of SACIT's debt individualized for your district based on your enrollment in SACIT. This debt certificate is only for 1 year, so just that's one piece. If needed, districts can issue DSEPs. This debt certificate does not limit this, and the debt certificates don't have any impact on any type of tips. The debt allocations the allocation certificates are needed in order for SACIT, again, we're an organization that doesn't have any of its own funding to be able to go out and issue debt. It's almost like co-signing for us. I know many have posed additional questions. They've been shared with Tammy and Anjali. If you have additional questions, please get them to me. In regard to the bylaws that are actually before you that I'm going to be asked to approve next month, one, I want to know if there's anything that we need to talk about regarding the bylaws. I'm assuming you've all had the opportunity to review that. There's 3 changes since the last time we met. And I also want to open the conversation or the discussion if there's any other questions. I might be able to answer them, John might be able to answer them, and if not, we will certainly get these to Tammy, Anjali, and Dawn.
Kim, what time is the meeting on June
8 o'clock.
Finance, right?
Yes.
And that's the one you just invited?
That's a
Yes.
And then this certificate that we need to sign to authorize SACIT, we'll have to have that approved at our June board meeting? Individual districts?
I don't think we'll be ready to do that in June. No, the certificates of allocation don't need to be signed until we're actually ready to issue debt. So
But you're trying to get us the information ahead of time,
Yes.
so districts that
Yes.
make determinations on whether or not they're
Yes.
going to opt out of the co-op,
Yes.
have an idea of what their
Yes.
representation is.
Yes.
Kim, I don't know if there's a question on there, but I'd like to ask if there's any advice from our bond people about how we would actually allocate that on our financial statements. Is it just a note, or is it part of like our TRS obligation that we have to include on that type of thing? I was just wondering how it would actually be recorded or represented on our financial reports.
Yeah, we didn't talk about that.
No, I would assume that that allocation sheet that you're gonna be asked to approve, which is just based on the first year, so basically your SACIT enrollment numbers for the first year, that would serve for that purpose. But I think it's an important question to ask any clarification.
Because if there's debt on the books, technically, that the district owns, it would have to show up in our annual financial report or audit somehow.
Yeah.
And that's my question, is how
Yeah.
is it reflected?
Yeah.
Right, because the note is very different than it actually is against your debt service limitation. Yeah, like the economic year.
John and Kim, I have a few questions. You reference that 25 million, just so we're on the same page. That's like the break even. Can you help us understand that a little bit more?
Sure. So that was based on the breakdown that Tammy did for us, based on our current rental costs. So our current rental costs are $1.8 million a year. So that's how much everyone's already paying via tuition to cover the costs of our rent. The $25 million is about $1.6 million a year, because we're always going to have some satellite classes. So she took the $1.6 million and said over 20 years, that equates to about a
So to pay that back, so in paying back a 20-year loan or debt certificates over 20 years for $25 million will be $1.6 million a year, which will be currently spent on our leases.
And that would assume then, I know you said there are options where she might present if you take it out for 10 years, if you take it out for 15,
Yes.
if you take it out. So by her saying that's that break-even point, then we're kind of obligating ourselves to that length of a loan then, right?
That was for 20 years for 25 million. One of the unknowns is cost of a building and the cost of the renovations based on the building. So we're working with White to be ready to go to give us costs based on the space that we've identified. So let's just say we buy a building for $6 million and renovations are gonna be $10 million, that's $16 million that we would need to issue debt certificates for, not the 25 million. So the 16 million, could be with the 1.8 be 1.6 offset, be 10 years, 12 years, 15 years. Do we want to lessen our tuition and look at taking it longer? Right, there are gonna be options with that.
The good news is, all of the scenarios that we've run into so far, our estimates are much, much lower than that. So the unknown for any of the properties that we consider is what those renovation or bringing it up to code for a school setting, et cetera, what those costs would be. But it's all gonna need to be financed through these debt certificates, and our rough math is a lot lower than 25 million. So in your first year, in your second year, as an entity, you guys are gonna be saving a lot of money. Plus, whether they're issued for 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, after the term of those debt certificates, you're gonna own that facility.
Right.
And you're certainly gonna have maintenance and ongoing operational costs with it, but it's gonna be a lot less expensive than leasing your current spaces.
That leads into my next question, and I hope this would never happen. But let's say 10 years down the road, we took out, a 20-year term on debt certificates and SACID folds, right? And now that money, based on the obligation we signed, comes back to the districts. Obviously, the districts would own the asset, right? But just like the assets right now, some of those buildings have been sitting vacant for quite some time. It's not like you're just gonna be able to offload that. If these are debt certificates, then my understanding is we have to pay them back out of our operating funds.
Sure.
Right? So then, I don't know if this is a question or a statement, that would mean that the individual members would have to find ways in their operating funds to pay that off until the building is sold and the assets are redistributed, correct? Which would then only leave us, most of us would be in a position to say, okay, well, we gotta pay out $4 million. We would then have to issue our own DSET then to do that likely.
So my recommendation to address that legitimate concern is to make sure that every year when you do your budget, that you make sure that you have a surplus, which you currently have. You have surplus funds, which is fantastic. Because in the event that the co-op dissolved, you're absolutely right, Kevin, you guys own the co-op. So based on the calculation that's currently in your joint agreement, that hasn't changed, it's not modified at all. The dissolution of all of the co-op's assets would be proportionally going back to your member districts. One of them would be a very large building that would need to be sold. So you guys would have to figure out how to sell that property and then divide that asset out. The good news is, in the Chicagoland area, especially the region that we're looking to purchase a building in, these properties' values keep going up. You really don't anticipate, unless you don't take care of it, of course, which you're going to. So I don't see that as being a huge issue. I mean, it's no different than the Southeast Alternative School, although we know that that property has this weird language connected to 203. But
So when you talk about fund balance, John, you're referring to SACS's fund balance,
Absolutely.
right? So,
Yeah,
so that would be something the finance committee just has to be cognizant of.
correct.
And when you say redistribution, you know, or portion of redistribution, you know, on the one hand, going in, it's based on your enrollment. So bigger districts would take a bigger, and that's fair, right? But on the flip side of that, then, the proportionate redistribution would also be based on that enrollment as well, correct?
Yeah, the joint agreement, I don't remember it exactly, but it references, I believe the calculation was off of the 10-year average of your enrollments. So that's how it would be calculated. And that's already
Right.
for any the dissolution of any assets. But what I was referring to was having a fund balance or excess fund balance was so that if the co-op dissolved today, if you guys decided that at the end of this year it's going to dissolve, certainly it takes time to sell the property. So any remaining debt on with those debt certificates, you're going to want to be able to pay for that monthly debt payment until the property is actually sold, without a doubt. And the good news is your current financial standing is very strong. And if you don't, right now you're spending, Kim said 1.8 million. So if you're spending 1.8 million and we can get that down to what your obligation is closer to, let's say, 1.2 million or whatever, you'd be wise to keep your tuition payments as is, save more of that so that you have a larger fund balance in the event that with the scenario that you, even though it may be unlikely, that you have yourself covered. Because the member district shouldn't have to pay, proportionally to in that offset. You should be able to have it. And again, currently your finances are very strong, and you have no reason to believe that they won't continue that way. Because as I said at your last meeting, you don't have a choice. You have to serve kids with disabilities. That's federal law, right? And even if it wasn't federal law, you would still do that. So, and that costs money, and that's paid for through tuition.
All right, then my last question, and I'll be quiet. The 203 building, or not, sorry, the Saxon building.
Yes.
Where Southeast is. And I apologize if you've already shared this, I'm just trying to process it all. My understanding is they have the rights to buy that building for $75,000, correct?
Correct.
Are they exercising that right if we move forward with this?
It sounds as if they would be interested in that,
Okay.
yes.
And to clarify, not interested in negotiating that.
Correct. We're in the process of getting an appraisal for that. I think they were out this week. Senga and I, we have been in our records pulling every bit of construction that has been done at Southeast since 1971. The problem is everything in our files doesn't have board action, so Senga is digging through 1991, 1992, right, like looking for the board actions on all of this where there's actually been approval of monies.
And there's no sunset clause, like after 50
No.
years they don't get it.
There
Because
was
that
no
would be
sunset
nice, because I would say
clause.
just hold that thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the other piece that's still out there is Dawn's taking a look at the language to see, how we might be able to rent this and who we might be able to rent this to, if that potentially is an option as well. So
Yeah, that document did state that you have the option to lease it for educational purposes.
yes.
And Keith can share that there are many private
Oh, yeah.
schools that are looking
Yeah.
for space. So I think you'd be foolish
I agree.
to give it up for $75,000, especially if you could get an entity in there that would pay for all improvements and take care of it. And
Yeah.
also give you a lease payment.
Thank you for all the answers
Of
today
course.
and all the work over the weekend. I appreciate it.
Of course.
Or you just let it run down to like it's a dump, and then we're like, yeah, well, here, 75,000. And they say we don't want it, and we're like, thanks, then we fix it back up.
I always want to complain, the land is a lot of that location.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Even if it's
Also, there is an option closing, which is like we know how much it's worth, how much we put into it. And it could be like, hey, we will sell it and only under the conditions that we will give you X amount of dollars. If not, you're never gonna get it. Like, we will let it rot in place forever. And we
Be an
push
eyesore.
203 with like, you want free money, here's how much we're willing to give you, right?
Or wait until their enrollments go up in the northeast portion of their school district, and they need a building, and you can lease it to them.
Yeah.
We could do
So,
that too.
so there's a few pieces to that we're still working on again. Also, we need, I've been working with Tammy, like, can you just help me, give me some options here, some ideas, so I'll bring those, to finance and facilities when I have those, we just have too many outstanding pieces right now, and again, we're, Senga, we've been very busy closing out the school year, so Senga, probably has not been able, I know she has not been able to, be down in our file room as much as she needs to find the actual costs of some of these renovations.
But it sounds like retention's such a good plan, like tuition's like free in 5 years. Like anything that costs us anything, I'm just.
So again, additional questions, please get them to me by Friday. I have a document that I'm putting together that is already put together. Tammy and Angela have it. They're very confident that we'll work through this. And so am I. So, we're still moving forward. We just received some information back from Oak Brook. We're hoping to get a counter offer from the bank this week or early next week, and then John and I are trying to go out and meet with Oak Brook. The first response we got back from Oak Brook Village was not quite as bad as Lyle's, but not very promising. We have had some interference run on our behalf, and things seem to be taking a turn for a little bit more of a positive direction. So we're hoping to meet with them next week or the following week as well, and hopefully we'll have more information at that point.
Can you clarify what you mean by it's only for a year that's on our debt kind of thing, and then it goes away? I'm very confused about it because
It doesn't go away. John, I think
It's
you're.
that allocation sheet. So
Yeah.
the allocation sheet that they're recommending we have each school district sign off on is just, it's the amount for that first year, and it's based on the 26, your current SASIP program.
Okay.
Just because they need a reference point. And if you think about it, so if you're an investor, you're attracted to these debt certificates to buy them so that we can get the money. They want to have some reassurance. So they want to know if the co-op has 350 students, what portion of those students are Whitfield, what portion are District 58, et cetera, et cetera. It's just that benchmark. So it's just that 1 year amount. That's all it is.
So
It's not representative of if in 2 years you have more students in SASIP programs at all, because you're going to be paying tuition for those students, or your enrollment goes down, which it may. Depending on your own enrollments, your kids with disabilities, that number goes up and down as well. Not a lot, but it does vary. So it's just that 1 year benchmark for the financing portion of this project.
okay. I'm trying to square that with the language we have in the proposed joint agreement, which talks about it being the average of the last 5 years of enrollment.
All that was for withdrawal. That's a totally different pocket. It similar. It's totally different than if the co-op dissolved. This is just for issuing the debt certificate.
So this is based on if it were to dissolve.
No.
For the debt certificates, it's this year's enrollment. Those are the allocations that Tammy and Anjali are preparing. So they're taking a look at this year's enrollment. That's what they're going to be looking at for the debt allocations. The 5 year was if somebody withdrew from the district. So the language is, it's, Matt, we've been living in this, so it's.
That's why I'm listening carefully.
Yes. So the debt certificates, when they're issued, is a snapshot in time of when they're being issued based on the
current enrollment and the current allocation, because SACID has to get the debt issued, and the only way for us to do that is to have the debt certificates identifying which district, the allocation each district would be responsible for based on this year's enrollment.
Yeah, I think that the reference to snapshot in time is perfect.
Yeah.
It's just for the investors'
Yes.
security to know that, yeah, this organization actually has a strong financial standing. And how would that debt be divided up? How is it allocated? That's all it is. So that's why she used she referenced that the allocation sheet is just going to demark this year's obligation just for the investment side of it.
So do Page West Cook people take part in this as well as non-members, or it's just aides?
No,
No.
they don't own it.
No, they do not own it, but they're included in the tuition, right? So they're paying back the tuition as well, but when we look at the allocation, it's only based on our district members.
So the kids are minus out of the
Yes,
Correct.
yes, yes.
So-
So Lizzie shared the enrollment numbers today, and she specifically said this does not include DWC.
So if it's 356 up there, we're probably taking a number of like 320,
Probably.
and then what proportion of our kids
Yes.
are from
Are
that
that.
320?
Yes,
So if I have 16 kids,
yes,
I'm 5% of that 320.
yes.
It's on the enrollment report, so at the bottom of each enrollment report, it talks about the SACID enrollment numbers versus the DWC versus the non-DWC or SACID numbers.
So 260,
So
right?
260 for SACID right now, 68 for DWC numbers, yeah.
So that, but then would you be subtracting out, if I'm a member of both, if I'm in SACID, I'm a member of both, and I have 16, or 4 of my 16 kids are in DWC programs, are they subtracted out or are they counted in?
They'll be counted in.
Okay.
If it's one of our districts,
So
one of these districts.
So,
And just remember
and I
that
apologize for dwelling this, I'm just trying to figure out
Yeah.
what I'm explaining to my board
Yes.
next week. So we have 216 students from which the debt is being given, it's our proportion of that 260. And the additional 74 student districts in the DWC are those other 60 kids. Because that would be,
But Matt, don't get caught up in the weeds of this allocation sheet that your board is gonna need to approve compared to what your costs are gonna be. Because your costs are always and only gonna be based on tuition payments for kids who are in programs.
John, my challenge is right now explaining that last time I explained to my board 3 weeks ago that the debt was in SACID's name.
Yeah.
Now I'm explaining to my board that the debt is in our name. And they
No,
were
so-
already hesitant, and
But
so
what
I'm
I
just
would
trying to
say-
navigate that
What I would
piece.
suggest to you is this, remember that the debt is in SACID's name,
Mhm.
but you guys own SACID.
Mhm.
The 18 of you own SACID.
That is us.
Correct.
It's us.
Yeah, it is absolutely you. So what you need to make sure that you are clear on, and I, as a superintendent, I appreciate this, you do need to go back and not only explain it, but then answer the questions, of course. So just remember, this allocation sheet, that dollar amount, it's almost, I would equate it to like a pre-qualifying for a mortgage. And then when you go and they say, oh, you can afford $800,000, but you're looking at your personal budget going, no, I can only afford this mortgage payment, so you don't overextend yourself. So this allocation sheet is just saying, based on your current enrollment in SACID, this is what your portion of it is going to be based on for the security of these debt certificates. But that doesn't mean that you're going to have to pay that amount. You're going to pay through tuition payments what you pay when you have students enrolled next year in SACID programs. You're not going to have to write a check. It's not that you can just front that money because you have fund balance. That is absolutely not an option, and it's not necessary. Because as Kim has said repeatedly, this is cost neutral for you. In the long run, it's absolutely cost positive for you in terms of member districts owning this co-op, because year after year after year, this is gonna be a greater and greater benefit to your districts, because eventually you're gonna have so much more control over what your tuition costs are. I don't see any way that in 10 years, this co-op is not gonna be able to reduce your tuition costs for member districts. It's gonna be much less expensive because you're gonna own that property.
So John, did I hear you say you're gonna commit to coming to all of our board meetings and
As
well as you
I
just
heard
said?
that.
No, what I would say is if individually, if any of you have a hard nut to crack and you need help, please call me or Kim. I'd be more than happy to help you out. Can I go to 18 districts board meetings? No, and I don't have a desire to. And I'm gonna guess that most of you probably won't have that need, but I do know what it's like. Some of you have board members, you may have a board member who's in finance, right? And totally doesn't understand this and asks you hard questions. You're not alone in this. Similarly, Anjali and Tammy can also help you with some of these questions. And some of them know some of your board members because they work with your
Right.
school districts as well. So you're not alone in this.
I know Kim had shared with me yesterday on the phone because I asked her for this. She is gonna update talking points to our board and all that, so that should be helpful.
So can I, this sheet that we're gonna have,
Yes.
what's the name of this thing again?
Tammy Schmello.
No, the sheet here that we're gonna have, the
Certificate
certificate.
Allocation certificate.
Allocation certificate. Am I correct in saying that, like we just said, we all own SASIT?
Yes.
That at this point in time, it's how much each of us own of SASIT is another way
Yeah.
of looking at this,
Exactly.
right?
Yes.
It's our proportional share
Yes.
of the organization at this specific
There's a
point.
difference between
Hank, that's exactly right.
and 5 years.
Can you tell me one of the proposed amendments to the agreement, I think it's in section 2.2. If this goes through, which I don't know if it will or will not, let's say 10 years down the road, someone decides to leave. Under that proposed amendment, we don't receive anything for what we
That's
own.
not, but that's now state law.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was, and I don't know if Kim had said this earlier, I know she said it at a different meeting, it's actually required by law, you don't have a choice in that. So, I think it was effective January 1st. If a school district withdraws from a co-op in the state of Illinois, they leave everything behind. It has nothing to do with your joint agreements. Now, you want your joint agreement to not conflict with that, it needs to align with that. But that, Dawn actually said early on, you have to make that change.
And that was just added, right? That was just recently added. Am I reading that right?
That's
The law was
Just wanna make
passed,
sure.
yeah, the law was,
I think it was January.
yeah, they're trying to really make it difficult to get out of co-ops. Everything is in that direction, all of this.
That was the original intent of the off-ramp language, to circumvent that exact piece.
We all need to know how to talk to our boards, and we're all experts at that for our day jobs and our living. I think the only thing I'd say, and it'll be Travis's to take from here, but for my district, my only general message has been, just I think it helps, but SASSA's working on a facilities plan that we think in the long term is going to save our costs, indirectly lead to staffing efficiencies. With that's the unknown future benefit. And the third piece is to keep in mind the governing board will actually approve the final thing, which is actually your school board members. Obviously, it's our job to advise them, but don't forget that the school board members are going to make that final vote on whatever it is. Am I correct in that? They approve the budget, they approve hiring you and your contract. So assuming they're going to approve this at some point, which not that we're passing that along, we're going to be the ones that share that information, but when the day comes about what the debt looks like, that day will come. But for right now, I just feel like that messaging seems to work out, that that's what they want to know. We don't want to overpromise, but that's the message, that's where we're headed here, over the long run.
And to segue, my next governing board meeting is Wednesday. Right, this is not new information either. I will be going through the facility presentation that I did here last month with them. I've been meeting with the president of the governing board, Ray Komensky, right, to bring this this will go out to your newly identified board members next week. So it is a very unique situation to have half a new board come in and get all of this information. So just again, your board is going to see everything that we've been talking about here as well, or at least a member of the board will next week.
So then can timeline, originally the thought was when we met last, we're gonna
Yes.
bring these joint articles and bring them into our
Yes.
June meetings, are we now thinking July realistically then, or August, because some people don't have July meetings?
Yes, and yes. So Kevin, frankly, I was waiting to see how this conversation went. I know that I need to update our timeline. Also in working with Tammy Ray, she has given me much more specific information about how everything needs to move. The biggest timeline issue is going to be with property. If we find a property, then we have to be ready to rock and roll. So I've been trying to get us set up as early as possible. So because we're not moving fast with the property, that June date, I'm not that worried about it anymore. We have 60 days from when we submit our intent to buy in to get all of this situated. So
Once the offer is accepted.
once the offer is accepted, we have 60 days to issue the death certificate. So I'm working backwards. So again, based on where we were a month ago, we thought that this was going to move pretty quickly, and it hit a stop really hard. So that's why we have a little bit more time with this. So we should be good. And again, I'm working on updating that and getting very specific with if this, then this, if this, then this, and then this. That's why we're also meeting with our architects to be ready, because they're going to need to have that cost ready to go. And also with that cost, I want them to do a very, have somebody go out there and really take a look at everything. We don't want to be any surprises. So we're trying to get all of our ducks in a row so that when we're ready, we're ready to move forward swiftly.
And what was the item that Dawn includes said was only had to be approved by the board of directors? Or was that the joint agreement? Remember on the phone call earlier this week?
Yeah,
She interrupted.
the
to clarify
bylaws,
that.
the bylaws,
The bylaws, yeah.
the joint agreement, the joint articles have to be approved by your boards.
Yes, yes, by you
By
and then
this,
by
and then by each of
your
your boards.
boards.
And when
Not the
two-thirds of those, of the bylaws are approved by your board, so when if 12 districts approve them, it automatically becomes passed. Okay.
We're all clear on June, July, that, right, system today.
Timeline is coming.
Yes, yeah.
Shows us exact job, so I think we're best served by
The other timeline.
Yes.
Oh, no, the time,
I'm
So-
talking about this, like, because the June 10th meeting, so what do we expect to happen?
we're gonna adopt the bylaws.
Because
We're gonna adopt the bylaws.
July meeting, to your
Yes.
question, I think a lot of us, I can't speak for all, but knowing our work in this room, a lot of us have meetings after that, which is
Yes.
good timing.
Yes.
Because we need to knock it out, because I also know there's listeners that don't have July meetings.
Right. So as soon as we're done with our June 10th board meeting, Senga is prepared to send out the resolutions that you need to take to your board. Like we have all that outlined, so that needs to be updated, because when I shared that last time, it was based on today. So we're ready to go.
Of the other key timelines, if somebody's thinking of
The
legally
June
with
30th
cooperative.
timeline is still there,
Right.
yes.
Then-
Letter of intent needs to be
June
submitted, yep. Doesn't mean that you're decided, but your letter of intent needs to be there.
And that comes from board action for those
Board letter of intent is just kind of holding your place to say I have till December to decide whether or not I'm really gonna withdraw, but I'm not gonna be on the line for the allocation if I decide to.
Is it relevant to me? I guess I was just interested and curious legally, does it require board action to say
you're
No.
gonna file a letter with Zinner, a superintendent, or
Oh.
somebody just say, here's
Um,
my letter, we're gonna.
Then
we're
we
gonna-"
probably,
I'm just
no, it
curious.
doesn't,
Okay.
because that's just the letter of intent, it will take board approval
The
to
resolution.
do the
Send
formal,
it.
to do the
Yeah,
formal
yeah, so
withdrawal.
you gotta kind of go through all
Yeah.
the
Withdrawal
hoops.
to send.
Yes,
You've
yes,
done
yes,
a year and a half of hoops.
yeah, yes. All right, we have to go into closed session, just for two things. One, we'll keep it very quick, and then the other one is, you guys, okay.
Okay, the motion and the second to move into closed session.
So moved.
Andrew will get that.
Okay, District 88,
Yes.
District 94,
Yes.
District 99,
Yes.
District 180,
Yes.
District 202,
Yes.
District 20,
Yes.
District 25,
Yes.
District 34,
Yes.
District 45, District 48,
Yes.
District 58,
Yes.
District 60,
Yes.
District 63,
Yes.
District 66,
Yes.
and District 68.
Yes.